The neon lights of Neo Cascadia shimmered over the bustling crowd of the downtown district, each beam slicing through the artificial fog that clung stubbornly to the streets. Music pulsed from every corner, a synthetic rhythm that intertwined with the hum of hover cars overhead. I never thought a simple night out would change my life, but fate has a way of twisting even the most ordinary of nights into something extraordinary. I had arrived at the luminous Veil, a club famous not just for its exotic lighting but also for the rumors of interstellar clientele. Most people dismissed those tales as marketing gimmicks. I, however, had learned long ago not to dismiss the impossible. After all, my life had been anything but ordinary since the day I discovered I could see electromagnetic auras. I leaned against the bar, sipping a cocktail that glowed faintly in tune with the music, and let my gaze wander. It was then that I saw her, a woman who seemed entirely out of place and yet perfectly at home among the chaos. She danced alone, spinning with an effortless grace that seemed to bend time around her. Her hair shimmered with a spectrum of colors I couldn't identify, and her eyes looked directly into me as if she could read my entire existence in a single glance. I felt drawn to her, a magnetic pull stronger than anything I had ever experienced. Every instinct screamed that this was no ordinary encounter. I stepped onto the dance floor, weaving through the crowd, and when I reached her, she smiled, a smile that sent a ripple through my chest. "Do you dance?" she asked, her voice a melodic resonance that seemed to vibrate through the floor itself. Yes, I stammered, though the truth was, I rarely danced in public. "Then dance with me," she said, extending a hand. Our bodies moved in sync almost instinctively. Each step felt like an unspoken conversation, each spin a confession. I felt my consciousness expand, as if the music itself had become a conduit connecting us on a level beyond physicality. Time slowed, and the world faded away until there was nothing but us, two beings moving to a rhythm I couldn't name. Hours, or perhaps minutes, passed. When the song ended, she leaned close. "You see me as I truly am," she whispered, her breath tinged with something that reminded me faintly of ozone after a storm. I laughed nervously, unsure if I'd misheard. "What do you mean?" "I am not of this world," she said simply. Her eyes glimmered with an intensity that made the words feel like a declaration of destiny rather than confession. For a moment, I thought she was joking. But then her skin began to shift, subtly at first, then with undeniable fluidity. Patterns of luminescent scales appeared along her arms, and faint, translucent wings unfurled behind her. My mind raced to reconcile the impossible sight with my senses. "I'm an alien?" I asked, voice trembling. "Yes," she replied, calm as if she had expected my reaction. "I am Queen Alara of the Cerithia. I came to observe your species, to understand, and perhaps to choose." "Choose," I echoed, my heartbeat thundering in my ears. She nodded. "Your planet is on the brink of chaos, and my people have the ability to help, but only if we find someone worthy to represent humanity. Someone with vision, courage, and openness to the unknown. I have been searching for years, and tonight I found you." I laughed again, this time in disbelief. "Me? You want me?" "Yes," she said simply, reaching for my hand. The moment our fingers touched, I felt a surge of energy, a connection that went beyond the physical. My thoughts intertwined with hers, and for the first time, I understood a fraction of what it meant to be alien. Over the next few days, my life became a whirlwind of secrecy and revelation. Alara explained her species' abilities. They could manipulate matter, sense probability, and even glimpse multiple timelines at once. But despite all that, She was drawn to me because of my humanity, our unpredictability, our emotions, our resilience. We met in hidden places, in rooms shielded from surveillance, and eyes that might be curious. Every meeting was a lesson, every touch a bridge between two worlds. I learned of her planet, Cerithia, a world of floating continents, oceans of liquid crystal, and skies streaked with colors that defied description. I learned of their politics, their wars, their hopes. And slowly, I realized that the connection I felt wasn't just attraction, it was responsibility. Then came the day that changed everything. I was walking through Neo Cascadia when a sudden pulse of light split the sky. Hover cars swerved, alarms blared, and the city trembled. I ran toward the epicenter, only to find a device, alien in design, embedded in the center of the main square. It pulsed with energy, unstable and dangerous. Alara appeared beside me in a shimmer of light. "It's a destabilizer," she said urgently. "It can tear your planet apart if not neutralized." "Then why is it here?" I asked, panic clawing at my throat. "A faction from my world believes humans are unworthy," she said grimly. "They would rather see your civilization destroyed than thrive." We had mere minutes. Alara instructed me to focus on the device's energy pattern while she channeled her power. I had no idea what I was doing, but instinct and trust guided me. As I reached out with my mind, I felt threads of energy entwine with my own thoughts. The destabilizer's pulse slowed, then reversed, until the city was bathed in a calm, golden light. People stared, awestruck, as the device imploded silently, leaving behind only a faint residue of energy. I collapsed into a nearby bench, gasping. Alara knelt beside me, her wings folding gently around her. "You did it," she whispered. "You are stronger than you know." In that moment, I realized what she truly meant by choosing me. It wasn't just about representing humanity, it was about partnership, trust. A bond that transcended worlds. Days turned into weeks, and our meetings became more than clandestine encounters. Alara began to introduce me to the larger realities of her civilization. I traveled with her, first in secret, aboard ships cloaked in invisible fields, then openly once I had proven my loyalty and skill. We visited floating cities of luminescent crystal halls, where decisions could alter the fate of galaxies, and sanctuaries where her people stored knowledge spanning eons. But the more I saw, the more I understood the weight of the role I had been thrust into. Humanity was fragile, but it had potential. And if I failed, the consequences would be catastrophic. One night, while hovering above Neo Cascadia in her ship, Alara turned to me with a seriousness I had never seen. "There is a choice you must make," she said. "You can return to your world, leave all of this behind, or you can stay and become an ambassador, a bridge between our species." I looked at the sprawling lights of the city below, the lives I had known, the family I had lost, the friends I could never replace. Then I looked at her, the alien queen who had danced with me as if our destinies were always entwined. "I can't walk away," I said finally. "Not when I've seen what could be, what must be." Her eyes glimmered, proud and tender. "Then you are ready." Over the next months, I trained, learned, and adapted. I studied alien languages, navigated interstellar politics, and honed abilities I never dreamed I had. I was no longer just a human. I was a liaison, a protector, and in a sense, a companion to a queen whose presence reshaped everything I had thought possible. Yet, amid the vastness of space and complexity of civilizations, the most astonishing thing remained our bond. We danced often, in private chambers aboard ships, in the halls of floating citadels, and once, in a serene glade on a distant moon where the sky shimmered with 3 suns. Each dance was a reaffirmation, a celebration of life, love, and connection that defied the laws of physics and biology alike. It was during one of these dances that she revealed her final secret. "I cannot bear to be queen without you," she whispered. "Not just as a companion, but as an equal. Your humanity grounds me, and your courage inspires me." I laughed softly, pulling her close. "And I thought the impossible ended when you revealed your wings." "But the impossible is only the beginning," she replied, eyes alight with cosmic fire. Years passed. I became a figure of legend on both Earth and Cerithia, a bridge between two civilizations. Humans began to glimpse the stars differently, aware that we were not alone and that the universe had possibilities beyond imagination. Alara and I never stopped dancing. Even in the weight of duty, in council meetings that could decide the fate of galaxies, in crises that threaten life itself, we would find moments to move together, to connect, to remind ourselves of what made it all worth fighting for. And one quiet night, as we watched the auroras of her planet ripple across crystalline oceans, she turned to me and said, "Do you remember that first night?" I smiled, brushing a strand of iridescent hair from her face. "The night you danced me into a new life?" "Yes," she said, leaning into my embrace. "That night changed everything. Not just for me or for you, or even for your planet. It changed the course of destiny itself." I held her close, knowing she was right. Life, as I had known it, had ended the moment I stepped onto that dance floor. And yet, it had begun anew, brighter and more profound than I could ever have imagined. The stars above shimmered, and I realized that even amidst galaxies unknown, even in the heart of alien civilizations, some things remained universal. Connection, trust, love, and the simple, timeless power of a dance shared between two souls. For in that dance, I had discovered not just an alien queen, but the boundless potential of the universe, and my place within it. Years passed, and our bond deepened in ways I had never imagined. I became more than a liaison or ambassador. I became a guardian of two worlds. The humans who once dismissed the impossible now looked up at the stars with wonder, inspired by the knowledge that we were not alone, and that someone from Earth had bridged the gap to an alien civilization. Alara's people came to trust me as they trusted her. I learned their history, their art, their science, and their code of honor. But no amount of knowledge could fully prepare me for the responsibility of shaping interstellar diplomacy or averting crises that could annihilate planets. Yet, even in the weight of duty, I found strength in our connection. Every dance, every shared laugh, every quiet moment reminded me of why I had chosen this path. One evening, on the crystalline terraces of Cerithia's capital city, the suns dipping below the floating continents, Alara turned to me. Her wings glowed faintly in the twilight, reflecting the colors of her world. "It is time," she said softly. "For what?" I asked, sensing both anticipation and gravity in her tone. "To solidify the bond between our species," she explained. "The Council of Elders has approved a new role for you, not just as an ambassador, but as a partner in leadership. You will be recognized officially, not just as human, but as a figure who unites worlds." My heart pounded. This was beyond anything I had imagined. A human given equal standing among an alien queen and her people. The honor was overwhelming, but it came with a weight I could not ignore. I accept," I said finally. "Not for myself, but for everyone who believes we can build something better together." She smiled, a radiance that could outshine the three suns above. "Then let us begin this next chapter together." The ceremony was unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Humans and Cerithians gathered side by side, their forms so different, yet strangely harmonious. Energy ribbons shimmered through the air, connecting delegates, while music, not unlike the rhythms of the luminous veil, resonated with every living being present. I took Alara's hand, and for a moment, it felt as if the universe itself paused to acknowledge our unity. Afterward, we walked through the city, her arm entwined with mine, her wings folding gracefully behind her. Children of both species laughed as they played beneath glowing towers, and citizens stopped to gaze, not with fear, but with awe and hope. It was a vision of what collaboration, understanding, and courage could create. Later, in the privacy of her personal quarters, we danced again. No council, no ceremony, just us. I realized then that this had always been the essence of our connection. The cosmic powers, the responsibility, the politics, they were part of our story, but the dance was its heartbeat. Alara, I whispered, pulling her close, do you think, will humanity ever truly understand what we've done? She pressed her forehead to mine, wings brushing lightly against the floor. Some will, some won't. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that we've changed the course of history, and that together, we've shown that love, trust, and courage are universal languages. We held each other as the twin moons of Cerithia rose above the horizon, their light dancing on her translucent wings. And in that glow, I understood something profound. The world I had known was gone forever, replaced by one of endless possibility. No longer was I just a man from Earth. I was a partner, a bridge, and a guardian. And she, my queen, my mentor, my love, was more than I could have ever imagined. In the years that followed, our influence reshaped two worlds. Trade, culture, and knowledge flowed freely between humans and Cerithians. Conflicts were mediated with unprecedented understanding, and both species flourished. And every so often, when the stars were aligned just right, we would return to that first dance, not as a ritual, but as a reminder. That night, in a crowded club of neon lights and thumping music, had set the stage for an interstellar story that would endure for generations. The woman who danced with me had indeed turned out to be an alien queen. But more than that, she had turned my life and the fate of two worlds into something greater than I could ever have imagined. And as we swayed together under the twin moons of her home world, I knew with absolute certainty this was just the beginning. The universe was vast. We had found each other, and together, we would dance across stars, through dangers, through wonders yet unseen, writing a story that would echo across galaxies for eternity.